Can you imagine a place where there's an army of exorcists, or where you can find a hidden time machine? This is the dark side of the Vatican. The Vatican started as a small hill called the Ager Vaticanus, located on the west bank of the river Tiber. According to ancient traditions, the area is a site of martyrdom for many Christians, including St. Peter, which is why it's considered a holy land. Over time, the Pope began to govern the reigns called the Papal States over a large portion of the Italian peninsula. This was until a period called the Roman Question, when Italy confiscated church properties in many places, pushing the Pope within the Vatican walls. The Lateran Treaty that was ratified on June 7, 1929, settled the period of the Roman Question, granting 44 hectares or 109 acres of land that would be independently governed by the Pope. Italy also agreed to give monetary compensation for the loss of the Papal State. Vatican City is now an absolute monarchy with a population of just 1,000 people. It's also the site of many cultural and historical treasures, such as St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, and the Vatican Museum. If you've ever watched horror movies, then you might be familiar with exorcisms. But did you know that these exorcists are specially trained in the Vatican? That's right. Vatican City has its exorcist army. It even has a biannual exorcism course where priests from all over the world are trained in the ritual of exorcism. The International Association of Exorcists was founded in 1994 by 6 priests and is tasked to educate the clergy about the spiritual battle and teach the rite of exorcism. The 400-member organization includes Orthodox, Protestant, and Catholic exorcists. Exorcists have noted that there has been a rise in the demand for exorcism globally for the last 2 decades. Over 500,000 people seek exorcism every year in Italy, and thousands more are being done in other places. According to Father Vincent P. Lambert, an exorcist based in Indianapolis, demons manifest in different forms. It could possess humans and inanimate objects and attack you physically and mentally. But the priest also said that not all complaints are actual demonic possessions. Out of 5,000 cases, usually only 1 case needs a legitimate exorcism, while others are due to mental health issues. Another dark side that might shock you is the existence of a pope who was allegedly a necromancer. Necromancers are people who practice black magic to summon the undead or other offensive arts or darkness. One piece of evidence is a book called The Grimoire of Pope Honorius, which was said to have been written by Pope Honorius III. He is often considered one of the great administrators in the Papal States by historians. The grimoire was distributed throughout Europe in the 17th to 19th century. The book is filled with conjurations to the demons of the 4 directions and 7 days of the week, as well as charms. It combines elements from other grimoires with Catholic rituals. As a result, many people use it for unintended purposes. One famous incident that was related to the grimoire was the affair of the poisons in Paris. The sensational criminal case involved several people who used necromancers for drugs, poisons, black masses, and other criminal purposes to get ahead in society. Another case related to the grimoire is the assassination of Archbishop of Paris in 1857 by Jean-Louis Viguier, a young French Catholic priest. The grimoire isn't the only secret that the Vatican hides. Did you know that they have thousands of hidden artworks and artifacts? The Vatican has over 70,000 artworks and displays only 20,000 of them in its museums. All these impressive collections, including the Sistine Chapel, are worth over $1 billion. One of the most well-known artworks is a colossal sculpture of Jesus rising from nuclear destruction. This piece is called the Resurrection and measures 66 feet by 23 feet by 10 feet. Christ's feet evoke images of dismembered hands and skulls. The legendary statue was finished in 1977 by sculptor Perico Fazzini, and it signifies the Catholic Church's opposition to nuclear weapons. The Vatican has a catalog of secret archives, where there are 12 centuries worth of documents packed into 53 miles of shelving. These documents are located in a fortress-like part of the Vatican and are only accessible to scholars once the documents are 75 years old. The Secret Archives is home to important artifacts such as the trials against the Knights Templar when they were accused of heresy by King Philip IV, which marked the end of the military order. Another mystery in the Vatican is the chronovisor, a rumored invention that allows you to see the past, or similar to a time machine. Allegedly, the chronovisor was created by Father Pellegrino Eneretti with the help of Nobel Prize-winning physicist Enrico Fermi and NASA scientist Wernher von Braun. Ernetti said that the machine was a direction finder that you can tune to a specific era, and you can watch historical events through a screen. In a way, the chronovisor is more of a window into the past than a time machine. It allowed the team to document events of the past, including the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Ernetti claimed that the machine was hidden away by the Vatican so that it wouldn't fall into the wrong hands. Ernetti's recollection was documented by Vatican priest Father Francois Brun in his 2002 book. Although many are disputing the claims, the chronovisor remains a Vatican mystery that can't be solved. The Vatican isn't just haunted by the past, they're also riddled by modern-day financial scandals deemed as the VatiLeaks. 2 Vatican insiders had released information to Italian journalists that exposed the Vatican's corruption. It all started when Pope Francis wanted to reform and clean up the church. He ordered auditors to look into the Catholic Church's bookkeeping. There were plenty of oddities and non-transparencies. The Pope assembled his cardinals and told them he would not tolerate improper financial payments. One of the most shocking accounts is the sainthood offices. The Vatican bureaucracy claimed to have 2,500 cases pending for the causes of saints, with each sainthood research being worth over €500,000. When the Pope asked the team to present documents of the pending cases, the sainthood offices came up empty-handed. The committee had to freeze a €40 million account due to this issue. Another shocking allegation is a charity that Catholics donate to called Peter's Pence. The charity is meant for those in need and for the universal church. As it turns out, a confidential document stated that around 67% of the money was spent on Vatican bureaucrats. This means barely 30% of the fund ends up in actual projects to help the poor. As a result, the 2 insiders, who were part of the Reform Commission assigned by the Pope, were sentenced to jail for the leaked documents. The Italian journalist who published the documents was not affected, since the Vatican has no authority over them. One particular shocking case where the Vatican's involved is the Rwandan genocide. If you're not familiar with the event, it's a shocking period in 1994 when 800,000 people were slaughtered in Rwanda within 100 days. The perpetrators were Hutu extremists targeting the minority Tutsi community. During this devastating time, militias went out to kill all government opponents and their families. Some killed their family members to avoid persecution by the Hutu. Even priests and nuns were involved and killed people who sought shelter in churches. The atrocities only ended when a rebel group called the Rwandan Patriotic Front took hold of the territory. Pope Francis has pleaded forgiveness for the church's role in the genocide, particularly for the failings of the church and its members who succumbed to hatred and violence. Several Catholic priests, nuns, and brothers were charged with participating in the genocide and tried by the International Criminal Tribunal of Rwanda. The Vatican is filled with historical legacy and mystery, from exorcism, necromancy, and dark undertones that serve as a stark reminder of its influence in the world. Hopefully, the Vatican can reconcile with its past toward a more enlightened path forward.